Hello, Algebra 1 students, and welcome back to problem 52. This one comes directly from lessons 10.3 and 10.4, which were on the quadratic formula. We are asked which of the following is a solution to 2x squared plus 14x equals 18. Now, on our previous video for problem 51, I said that you could use completing the square or the quadratic formula to solve. For this one, we're probably not going to do that because of this extra 2 out front. Now, you could still make it work if you really liked completing the square, and you can chat with me separately or send me a comment on the video. But we only learned how to complete the square when there was a 1 in front of x squared. And if you look at all the answers have this bottom of the quadratic formula part, this over 2a thing. So I'm thinking quadratic formula for sure. Now, one trick. Please remember to use the quadratic formula. Our answer needs to be equal to 0. The quadratic formula only works if our equation fits a certain form. So instead of 2x squared plus 14x equals 18, we need to go through and subtract the 18 from each side. Okay, equals 0. So 2x squared plus 14x, and notice the minus 18 isn't actually like terms with anything there. I'm going to go through and show this twice, with kind of the longer way first and the shorter way after. So, longer way first. We'll just kind of split it from here. Quadratic formula. And I'll write it just the one time. You will probably get the quadratic formula on your test, but hopefully you've used it enough so you don't need to have it. You don't need a formula for it, right? If you have it memorized, it's definitely a little bit faster. So, we're going to go through. We're going to say negative b plus minus square root blank squared 4 times blank all over 2 times blank. All right, and we should be able to identify our a, our b. Don't forget that negative on the c. So 14, 14, 4 by 2 by c all over 2a. Really going to test my multiplication and addition skills here. Hopefully you have a calculator handy. I don't, so I'm going to try not to mess this up too badly. 14 squared is 196. Let's see, let's do 4 times 18 first. 4 times 18, that's 32. 72, and 72 doubled is 144, all over 4. And then we are going to add these together. Okay, 4 and 6 is 0, 13, that makes 14, and then carry the 1, 340 over 4. Negative 14, 340 over 4. Well, looking up here, I see, oh, look, they're trying to trick you. I see a positive 14, but not a negative 14. So I don't think this matches any of our answers yet. What are we going to have to do? Well, we're going to have to break down the square root of 340. Okay, breaking down the square root of 340 might look pretty intimidating. However, we can quickly break this down because of the 0. We know it's 34 times 10 makes 340. Okay, 10 is 5 and 2. 34 is going to be 2 and it looks like 17. And I think that's as nice as that gets, huh? So, looking at this, I see a pair of 2's, which means we can rewrite this as x equals negative 14 plus minus all over 4. My pair of 2's goes to the outside, and on the inside, I have the 17 and the 5, those two leftover numbers. Okay. Looking at this, I think we can do a couple things. First, negative 14 plus minus 2 square roots of, let's do 5 times 17. 5 times 7 is 35. 85 over 4. Is that 85 anywhere up here? I see some 85s. That's a good sign. Then, the last part is to realize that if you treat these as fractions, negative 14, distributing that division, distributing this division, we can reduce these fractions. I can reduce by dividing by 2 and dividing by 2. And so what this gives me is negative 7 over 2 plus minus 1 square root of 85 over 2. Negative 7 positive square root of 85 plus minus square root of 85. Look at that. There's our negative 7. And notice that they put everything back together, but you could write this in two parts. Plus minus 1 square root of 85 over 2. That's the same thing if you distribute the division or put it back together. And so we do look like we end up with C. Now, you might be looking at this saying, oh my gosh, those are some huge numbers, lots of steps, you had to break down a square root, I don't like it. Is there a faster way? And the answer is yes, there is a faster way. Now, this faster way only works because this is an equation. And so what I'm going to show you over here is that if we started with 2x squared plus 14x minus 18 equals 0, we could actually go through and divide both sides, because whatever we do to one, we do to the other, by something that they have in common. And it looks to me like they all have a 2 in common. So I would suggest you actually go through and divide by 2 at the beginning. This doesn't always work. It didn't work on the last problem because they didn't all have a value in common, but this time they do. So if you divide everything by 2, it will get you 1x squared plus 7x minus 9 equals 0. And then we can try the quadratic formula again. Ready for it? So I'm just going to leave the blanks this time since we've done it once already. Get yours set up on your paper. There we go. So we have negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. And now cleaning this up is much easier. All right, we have 49, and then this is going to be plus 36 over 2. And take a look at this. 49 and 36, that's 85 over 2. Ha! We already have the answer. Man, oh man, that would have been nice to start with, wouldn't it? So, just a reminder that you can still get the right answer without dividing by 2. We definitely needed to make the problem equal to 0. If there is a common factor and you'd like to divide both sides by that common factor and then use the quadratic formula, go for it. It's probably a good move, and I think the right side is definitely easier than the left side. Thank you as always for tuning in. Hopefully this helps you find some success on your Semester 2 final exam.